I think basically the reason that this mistake was made was, in my opinion, like we were overcorrecting and also looking at correlation and saying that it was causation. So, like, were there challenges in the way that we were segmented previously? Yes. You had certain cohorts of teams that were over exceeding quota and certain teams that were challenged. A lot of that had to do with like the macro at play at the time, and like tech was skyrocketing and industries like, healthcare, financial services were stagnating at the time. So by kind of like resetting and saying like, okay, instead of looking at it by industry, we're just going to have these three cohorts of customers based on life stage and spend and complexity. We just ended up kind of doing the same thing of like one cohort of the team doing better than the other because we what was really the problem was the quota expectations and like not taking into account what was happening in the macro and having appropriate growth expectations for certain teams versus others. So instead of what we had was like some reps that worked with certain verticals that were challenged, we ended up like over quoting a different part of the business, which was like the like less mature, less complex part of the business, which is where I sat. So I can speak to, my specific segment that I was overseeing at the time when this change was made. Like, we had the less established accounts, they had weaker balance sheets, they were even more susceptible to macroeconomic pressures. They were earlier in their journey with LinkedIn marketing solutions, so they were not as self-sufficient. They needed a lot of support and education and had limited bandwidth. So to have these like very high quota expectations on them, we just needed more time for these accounts to mature. Many of them were startups, and we didn't really anticipate and account for the volatility that was happening at the time in the VC space. And so it was just really challenging to manage time to value with those accounts. And so again, like we just ended up, instead of saying the reps working with these verticals are crushing and these are not, it was like, okay, well, now the reps working with the cohort of accounts where I sat were not doing well and everybody else was doing great. And so to me, it came down to like, we overcorrected and we actually didn't solve the problem because we didn't take the time to go to what the root cause of the problem actually was and what our customers really needed from us the most to be successful. So I think what could have been done to avoid this mistake, like one, be really customer focused. Like I don't think we spent enough time to understand what our customers needed from us. Like, sure, maybe we didn't need to be verticalized and like where we were and how many customers we worked with. We didn't need to be like the financial services experts of the world, but maybe those customers did need something different from us than how we resegmented into these